it being 6 o'clock and a quorum present, I'm gonna call the September 5th meeting of the Conservation Commission to order. We are being recorded live on Zoom and for rebroadcasting at a later date on our town's YouTube page and public access media. So the first matter of business is acceptance of meeting minutes for August 15th, 2023. Did anyone have any comments, additions, etc.? Do you want me to share them? Would that be easier?
No, I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes as written.
Sorry.
All right, all those in favor? I'm not pointing. You just go down the line. Yeah, you.
Langer and I. It's just weird having somebody that doesn't vote next to me.
No, well, aye.
Gentilucci, aye.
And Dan's an aye. All right, those are set. Second order of business is a certificate of compliance for James LaCasa, 149 Turkey Hill Road, or LaCase, sorry. The last meeting, we were waiting for an updated as-built, which we have. Did anyone else do drive by, take a look at it? A lot of the work was outside of the 100. I drive by it all the day, so.
Yeah, I looked at it.
Yeah.
Looks good.
So we have all the paperwork we need. I think is that the homeowner who might be here?
Yep, James Lacasse, homeowner of 149 Turkey Hill Road.
Thank you. Any questions from commissioners?
Motion, we issue a COC on 149
On Turkey Hill?
Turkey Hill Road.
Second.
All those in favor, roll call.
Langer and I.
Alcoa, aye.
Gentilucci, aye.
Williams, aye.
Dan's an aye. So Tamika will get you that COC for recording and you should be all set.
Awesome. Is that something you guys will send in the mail to us, or do we pick it up at the town hall?
James, I'll actually email it to you.
Oh, perfect.
Because we use
Perfect.
electronic signatures, so you'll be able to print that as the original and then just get it recorded with the registry of deeds.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, so public hearings, notice of intent for Glenwood Road. We continued from our last meeting. Just as a recap, we decided to continue. And Butter gave us some concerns to look at. So myself, Peter, Joe, and Glenda were at the site visit with Mark. We took a look at the site. We started along the rail trail and walked that side again to look at those wetland flags. Mark has added those flags back onto the plan, resubmitted that. We took an area, a look at inside, the property where the house was gonna be going, where some of the test pits have done, and where that kind of access road that was utilized kind of cuts in and out. And I think from what we discussed last time, and anyone please feel free to jump in, at least from what I saw, where the road cuts through is going to be on a separate lot than the one that is in front of us right now. But we still can add, a condition that a notice of intent should be filed for that restoration, as we kind of discussed. I think that's kind of working ahead of the game a little bit and just, ensuring that it's coming. And then I think otherwise we didn't see anything that we hadn't seen the last couple site visits between the wetland line. The work that has gone on there is historic. There's nothing kind of new that I saw. And then some of the other issues working through DEP and appeals, which I think that needs to play its course as well before we, would take action, but it's kind of dependent on what DEP comes out with the appeal first. So is there any questions from the commission? I can pull up the plan if you want. It just adds those flags along the rail trail. Maybe. Can you allow me to screen share back there? I'm Melissa. Please. I'd appreciate you. Perhaps.
Nope.
Still says it's disabled. Thank you. I'm very patient. My bad. Okay. So apologies, it's kind of small, you guys, but So these B series flags have been added back on 1 through 7.
And then where did we ask them to install erosion controls? Where was that?
This is this line. Here. It's
Sorry, where-
it's this hashed line.
Do you know if those have been installed? Did you put erosion controls up at all?
No, not yet. We haven't started any work out here since, or no new work. Or you might be referencing off-property stuff?
Are you talking about the cart path one
Yeah.
that we discussed?
Yeah.
Along the
I-
cart path
I think
there?
some silt fence was put up out there.
Oh, okay.
I would just ask if any conditions just relate to this property, because it's gonna be sold as an individual property parcel, and DEP still has the power of enforcement action on the other piece if needed. So I would just request that any conditions relate to this lot so that the new owner isn't hampered by conditions that are out of their control.
Any questions from the commission? Joe, Glenda, do you have anything else from the site visit that I missed? We kind of
No.
walked both the rail trail and then back up the driveway and around back. The other new houses as well. Jared, do you have anything? You good?
I'm all set.
Are there any questions or comments from the public? Please,
I wouldn't refer to those.
can you identify yourself, please? Sorry,
Woody Coyne, 105 Glenwood.
thank you.
So as the photos are provided in the appeal, both sets of appeals, I wouldn't refer to those the disturbances as far as the timber cutting, stump removal, timber piling, filling, grading, excavating, everything that's actually in mass depth, that's not historic. And you can see that from the photos that we find, it's fresh. Now, it's overgrown now and it's been rained on. But when you guys first saw it last year, and when someone else, I don't know who it was, brought it to your attention and you actually discussed it in here, it was fresh at that time. So I disagree with the interpretation that it was historic,
Well, historic and so nothing has happened since the last appeal.
but it's in that interim. It has occurred in that interim.
Noted. Do you have any other comments, questions related to this application?
Well, they're described in the document.
The document from last time? Okay,
Now, there's been some revisions and some additional supplementary documentation that will be included. So it will be different than what you have now.
I'm not understanding
appeal.
what you're,
The appeal.
the appeal of, okay,
The appeal.
understood, an impending appeal.
Mhm.
Okay. Is there any other questions or comments from the public, either in person or on Zoom? Mark, is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, thank you.
So I'm going to stop sharing. Is there a motion to close unless there's any other questions or comments?
Make a motion to close.
Second.
All those in favor by roll call?
Langer and I.
Elko, aye.
Chancelucci, aye.
Danza, aye. Do we wanna discuss issuance conditions? I think our standards are pretty inclusive of what we've discussed of this project at least.
Yeah, I'm trying to, I can't think of anything extra to add to that one.
We're not close to the 15, so no boundary markers.
Right.
If I may, what is the closest point to wetlands for you?
We'll say 75. Okay. And I guess we'll just make a statement that we'll look for the notice of intent coming soon. I understand your point. But I guess for the record, you know, it's something that we would like to see addressed, so we would be following up on that one.
Survey work's complete, just has to pull a plan together.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, just make sure that erosion control in that one spot that we were talked about is in. There's just one place where it kind of breached through and it's heading down. All right, so motion to issue with our standard conditions for Glenwood Road.
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor by roll call?
Langer and
Elko, aye.
Chance Lucci, aye.
Williamson,
And Danza, aye. Motion is approved. All right. Old and new business, tree cutting inquiry at 54 Finn Park Road. Is there anyone here for that? All right. You wanna give just a quick, oh my gosh,
A queen?
a quick overview of what you're looking to do and kind of reasonings?
Do you want, I was gonna say, do you want me to comment on it?
Sure.
Yeah. So there's several very large white pines in front of the camp house. And we're working on doing a tight tank plan for several properties down there, an engineered plan. But the thought is that we're getting a group together down there, so there's gonna be 5 or 6 possible camps that are gonna all pool together, do one survey, one filing, and one filing to DCR. But the one issue that is a little bit time sensitive that we wanted to move up in the schedule is some white pines. They can add details, but I think one may have already fallen on the house. And they're
I can.
a
absolutely.
bit of a hazard.
identify my-
Yes, please.
Scott Wanaka, 1 Tanglewood Circle. There's actually 4 large white pines. Also in that area over the last few winters, as these trees have all matured and everything and starting to really show their age. We've had several that have snapped in half. The 4 that are in question are starting to lose large pieces. We've had multiple hits on our roof as well as the neighbors' roofs, and we're basically just trying to be proactive so that we don't have one of these snap in half and take out an entire, these are large trees, and if they hit one of these buildings, it's gone. So we're just trying to be proactive and following whatever regulations to make sure we.
Is that where the tight tank's going?
Yeah, so just to add to it, it's all in lawn area. It's close to Finn Park Road right there. So I don't really envision any disturbance when those are taken down. And either way, these trees are gonna have to come down for the tight tank installations.
So how about you take them down now and pull the stumps when you do the other piece?
I think that would.
That work?
Yeah. That would be
Because then
fine. Yeah, I
because
mean-
taking them down is easy, but if you're not gonna do a ground disturbance, I think it makes it even easier and quicker for us right now. Because we'll consider it a hazard.
Yeah.
Just leave the stumps and do the stumps when you do the other part.
Yeah.
That work for everybody?
Yep, that was our plan.
good.
Is to get the trees safe and then from there move forward and.
Yeah.
do the excavation.
But it's much easier because they can put it in their plan on what they have to do.
Exactly.
Excellent.
It can just be part of the work.
Okay. That's my suggestion.
And I'm assuming it's these trees that you put on whatever was
Yeah.
uploaded, these 4.
Yeah, essentially that shows where the
Okay.
house is and
So
the
the pond's
4
on this
trees.
way. They're
How close are
closest
they?
to the road.
To the,
To the camps?
no, to the pond.
Oh, they're on
So they're
the
on the opposite
opposite side, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Side, yeah.
75 feet maybe?
Yeah, they're not on the waterfront.
So they're up here.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just their camp that sits right under them either. Those are big trees. If they come down, they could.
Right.
The
There's a lot of-
sketch we got,
a lot
Scott,
of
the
stuff to
closest
damage.
tree is about 65 feet.
Okay. I mean, it's on the upward side, so.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, do you wanna just do a quick motion for like administrative approval?
Yeah.
For 4 hazardous trees, stump to remain until the permit for the tight tanks?
Yep.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
Can you?
Yeah, I can.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Langer and I.
Elko, aye.
Chance Lucci, aye.
Williamson.
Dan's eye. Awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks.
That's it.
We're
All good.
All set.
Thank you very much.
All right, the next one is wetlands complaint at 356 and 358 Main Street. So I think I see 358 Main Street on there, are you 356? Okay, awesome. So just as a background, we got, I believe the initial complaint was to DEP. So we were notified from Central Region DEP about some alterations that were happening within possible wetland resource areas. So we looked through our files and found that where a lot of the trees were removed, and I think where you have kind of some of your camping equipment type is within an actual wetland itself. So when you moved in, there might have been like a black silt fence, I believe it's still on the adjacent property. So that is actually the edge of the wetland boundary. So anything kind of further than that, you can't alter in any way unless you have a permit. So that's kind of why we've called you in. I think when we took a look at it, you know, the first step is just getting that, all of that kind of stuff out. And I think what, you know, I don't know what other commissioners thought in terms of if there's mitigation or just kind of leave it, let it regrow. Let it regrow. Have you made any progress on taking the stuff out?
Yes, okay, so before I start, right, we're new to Rutland
Yeah.
and new to wetlands.
Yeah, no, and that's why
to
this is purely
be
educational.
educated on wetlands, so, yeah, so we don't know much about wetland and, so we asked friends, so all they said is, you know, as long as we don't build nothing structural on it, but you know, so I thought it was okay just to clean, cause I had a, wood chipper there to, chip all the, brushes, the branches that I, you know, piled up. And I did, you know, cut a few trees down just to open some space for my kids to like, you know, practice, you know, their sports and all that, so, I mean, I should have did the right way and talked to conservation first, you know?
Oh, no, we're,
So
yeah.
I did remove the wood chipper out and the fire pit and all the gardening tools.
Yeah.
But I still got 3 hammocks still tied to the tree. Do I have to remove that too?
Technically, yes.
Okay.
You're not supposed to be within the area. I think if the hammocks are there, you'll continue to go back there, is the thing.
Okay. I mean, will there be anyone like to go over and just show us like, you know, the restricted area?
Yeah, we can definitely set that up. And if you email Tamika Murphy, who's our assistant, we can actually send you the plan that we used for the original construction. And that has that erosion control line and where the wetland area is. So kind of where that silt fence used to be really is kind of the edge of where you can keep your lawn. I think if there's something that the commissioners might be open to in terms of hammocks, I think there's a way. It's just, it's the weird fine line. What does everyone else think?
Where are the hammocks located?
They're hanging between a couple trees.
Yeah, in the
Is that
wetland.
actually a wetland? Is that-
Yeah,
That
it
is
is,
actually a
yeah.
wetland? Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
It is.
it's not,
Are you aware of where the boundary is and where it's marked, how it's marked?
he just said no.
No.
Alright,
So-
so we did put that one in, isn't that one in the order of conditions to be marked with boulders?
I'd have to
So he
double
has
check
boulders
that
on
one.
the other lot, the one next.
Hmm.
I wondered,
There's
because we did them at the same time.
A boulder, right behind the
Yeah.
house, probably like
We
15
can-
feet from the house
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah,
That unfortunately might have been the edge of the work, which was right before the wetland. But on the adjacent property, 358, they still have part of their black silt fence.
Yes.
So that, if you were to carry that straight across the back of your property, that's essentially where the edge was. But we can, if you email Tamika, we can definitely get you that plan.
Yeah, and we can always, if you have questions, just let us know and somebody will stop over, Melissa, and
We have an agent now, yeah.
I have a card if you want it. It has my number. I can probably stop by on Friday of this week if you guys are around.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
And also you mentioned permit. So we can like, you know, like alter or
no.
no?
If you were to alter a wetland, you would have to replicate it at a 1-to-1. So unfortunately, I just think you don't have space on your property. And it's kind of dependent on what you do. So anything from that edge of that wetland out to 100 feet, we have jurisdiction over. So any alteration, any structure, any kind of ground disturbance that you do, you'd need some sort of permit from us. You know, some things are simple, like if you wanted to put in a shed, you know, there's kind of a very easy process through that. But if you were to do something larger, like an addition, that requires kind of our higher application, notice of intent, kind of what the public hearing that we just gone through. And that kind of requires the engineer and a survey to come out and really lay everything out again. I always kind of recommend to landowners think about what you wanna do in the next 5 years. Our permits are typically good for 3, but they can be extended. So if you have a couple projects in mind, it's sometimes a cost and time savings to kind of loop them all in, cause it doesn't mean you have to do them all, but at least you've got them permitted once instead of doing them piecemeal.
Cause I mean, I have 3 young kids and, you know,
okay, that's about
it would be nice if we get to clear the whole area and then fence around my property line.
Can't see.
Possible.
Probably not the property lines, cause that would be going through a wetland resource area. But if a fence is something you're interested, definitely reach out to Bree, our agent, and she can kind of work you through that
All right.
process.
Just to like, you know, just like wildlife to come in when my kids play.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like exactly where the property line is, maybe
Yeah.
Right.
12 foot, you know, in.
No, if anything, you know, we sometimes like to have you put in fences, right where that boundary is, cause that kind of is a physical barrier. It means you won't go further. You know, it's a lot harder to throw your mower over there than it would be to just keep going. So it's definitely something to think about. You know, reach out to the agent. She's a great resource. So if you have kind of just odds and end questions here and there, don't hesitate to reach out.
The disturbance went all the way back.
For now, yeah, just getting that stuff out.
So just clear it all up and, I mean, remove everything, just
Just let it
leave
be.
untouched.
Yeah.
But are the kids still allowed to play on the area?
As long as you're not continuing to
anything?
clear it, yeah,
Got it.
I think, yeah.
Alrighty.
I think we'd just be concerned if you were like making a distinct trail, sometimes that kind of compacts the soils and it creates like an island of non-wetland, which would be kind of a violation, so, I mean, just normal play is normal
We
play.
can run, right? We can run on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yep.
don't, put like a path down, things
Right.
like that.
I mean, we moved from Boston, so there's nothing but concrete there, but.
Yeah, I know,
Love it, yeah.
so enticing,
Peaceful, you know,
For sure.
relaxing.
yep.
Yep.
Alrighty, so.
Yeah, the
everything's
goal.
all in this card.
Yes.
Yes, you
The
can
goal is
email me or call.
basically, yeah, to be as least impactful so the vegetation grows back. So as long as kind of the vegetation is grown in, then that's kind of the sign of the healthy.
Yeah, it already started growing in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, with this year, I'm sure. Yeah, so thank you for coming in, we appreciate it. Do you have
Thanks.
any other questions?
We'll get in touch with Bree.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
I'm gonna get a whole paragraph on this.
Okay.
Perfect,
Alrighty.
Cool.
thank you.
Thank you.
You don't have to stay, you're not tied.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
And then for 358, I see Dan's here. We had asked them just to start pulling out the wood that they had cut and chopped. Dan, could you give us just an update on where you are with that?
Yeah, mostly, I mean, since then, we didn't really get any time to cut more, but whatever we have cut it into small pieces, we're just using them as firewood. And as you said too, in the last walkthrough when you guys were here, to not cut them all together, just cut them in a small section and burn them. And that's what we've been doing since then.
Okay.
And just, yeah, as you go, keep moving those piles out of that area onto the lawn would be good.
I'm probably gonna bring them closer to the black silt fence and then burn them off there. I just didn't get the time to bring that pile out, but
Okay.
definitely do.
Great.
That's no problem.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Anything else on these 2 properties?
Can you put a note to check that, when do we wanna check it? See where it looks.
1 month,
No,
2 months,
November?
November?
November before snow.
The 356.
Yeah, oh, sorry, right
Both
next,
of them,
yeah,
both
they're
of them,
open,
356,
but
yeah.
we should, yeah, we got permission to go, just to see where stuff looks like.
Yep.
And then until it gets to a point, we'll just do every 3 or 4 months, so there's no rush on the homework.
Let Scott see that. Let Scott take a look.
At this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wetlands.
Yeah, they don't have much space.
They don't have much.
It's-
No,
That's
that's
20
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Three
For
fifty.
them, that's not a,
tight.
Oh, that's tight, those were tight when they put in,
Yeah.
but that's why, but that's another one of those, I
You
just,
can really see it on the
I just kinda
overhead.
wanna see every
Yeah.
3 months until
Yep.
it gets to a point.
I agree.
yeah, he's got plenty of space to
Thank you.
stack it.
Are you guys here for something specific? We can take you first.
Yes, they have.
You couldn't figure it out, then we're just spectators. No, we're here for the Rutland Rural Cemetery.
Okay.
We're having a problem with, I don't know if you've seen or been down there, a pond that is not a pond anymore. So when we throw the flowers there on Memorial Day, it's kinda, you're throwing it on the grass now instead of into the water kind of thing. In the past, it's been cleaned out and maintained, and now there's probably 18 inches of muck. And the water is only this deep now, so of course nothing lives in it very long. It did dry up completely 2 years ago, I think, not last year, but the year before.
We could actually walk across it.
A little lucky, but, cause it being dry.
Are you familiar with the pond?
So we're here for ideas, is what we can do to maintain it, to bring it back to a pond, cause
And
otherwise
there's a
we're gonna
dam
have
on
to
one
start
end of
mowing
it.
it.
A dam on, so they can adjust.
Oh.
So it was,
That's what it looks like now.
oh, come on, you gotta tell them how long you've been down there.
Excuse me?
Tell them how long you've been down there.
How long have I been down there?
Yeah, since you're
50
eight.
years.
Right, he's been there 50 years, so.
That's all.
That's also a copy of that. That's the outlet, this is the inlet.
Just take it up under it. Just not expected.
Little stream that comes in from Glenwood Road, and then it goes out over a little dam and down towards Pommogussett, towards Parkins Pond that way, when it runs. So we need to do something and just to bring it back. What we'd like to do is use an excavator, good sized one, and a 10-wheeler, and on a dry, we're here to, just to give you an idea of what we're thinking, what we'd like to do, so the next time, we don't wanna do it if there's water
And
there.
what we can do, we cannot
Yeah.
do, I guess.
But if it dried up again like it was last year, it was a
Your
perfect
time,
opportunity, but timing and everything else and work.
Oh.
So now that's why we're here. If we had that opportunity again, what we'd like to do is, cause you'd have to reach in, and go across, cause it's about 85 feet by 135 feet. And like I said, approximately 18 inches of muck and then a very solid bottom. So if it was dry enough, we'd go into a 10-wheeler and haul it and use it let it dry out, and then we use it for loom and whatever down the road. It comes out mucky, so it's not pretty, but it does dry out, and then it is pretty. So we're looking for ideas, what we'd have to do, not do, the next time it
This
gets
is the
dry.
worst it's been, again, many, many years.
Seems to me, there was
And
a,
if we don't do something with it, it'll just turn into a swamp.
yeah, there was a point in time when DCR had talked to us, and this goes back a few years. They were picking up things in the water downstream, coliform and stuff like that, in their usual sampling, and it was getting beyond this. And their comment at the time was that there was a lot of wildlife populating around there, geese, what have you.
In the pond itself, you mean?
Yeah.
When it's a pond, they certainly do come in and go.
Yeah, they love it.
Somebody scares them away quite often, but they don't stay long, but they certainly do come and go.
Yeah, so I would just,
We're not bothered to.
have you talked to
badly with them.
DCR about it at all?
No, this is his first stop. He called me first.
Huh?
He called me first. This is his first stop.
I don't know if you've seen Paxton, they've tried all kinds of things down there to do away with them, but it's
The
not.
only reason I bring it up is just a cautionary
Right.
thing for you to definitely
But, I mean, what?
talk to DCR as well as us, because they did have a concern a while ago. I don't know how well it was recorded, or if they even recorded it in their records, all right? They just did a, kind of a drive-by. But I would definitely, in the course of talking to folks, to find out what you can and can't do, DCR could be a real wealth of information for you as to what they consider the status of that particular
Well,
pond is.
Yeah, and again, just something I think that, because it's a town thing and everything else, we start the process with them, let DCR come and give their recommendation how to do it.
So you-
Yeah.
Cause a permit's good, will be good 2 to 3 years at a whack.
No.
What feeds it?
Tiny little stream. What feeds
What
it?
feeds it?
Yeah, obviously it's heavier when you get the rains and
Yeah.
it goes down to nothing when it doesn't, you know?
It's not spring fed.
No.
So what do you think is filling it? Where is it coming from?
From
Leaves.
Glenwood Road, right from, that, where Narcissus live, right in that area, it starts in there, just goes down where there's cattle are. Maybe that's part of it, because it does go down through the
What
farm.
we're talking about?
Comes to us.
Right at the beginning
Right
of
at the-
Glenwood,
right
where
at the
the
corner.
cows are.
Yeah,
There's a stream that goes through there that's literally this
Tiny.
wide.
You know,
okay.
it's small by the time, well, like again, you know, there is a whole valley there at Glenwood Road, so it does collect when it rains, but it goes from something to nothing.
But how do you start the process? That's kinda, I think, what they're, obviously DCR will be involved.
I think the hard part is it might need to be surveyed. And like it might need to have an actual plan, because DEP might call it dredging. That's my concern, which would turn into 401 water quality survey.
Because it connects downstream.
And Amoeba
Ends up in
and
a
Army
source.
Corps.
Yeah, and
all of
Army
the
Corps
above.
and all that.
Drinking water source.
Isn't there a,
So back.
No.
there's no square footage?
If you're,
It's not considered a maintenance type of thing?
It could be.
probably not. It would only be maintenance if it was a stormwater basin constructed after 2008, which unfortunately it's not.
But the thing is the town did work over there after 2008 on Glenwood Road, where they diverted stormwater, which added to the flow. It affected the farm, and it also affected the flow after the farm, which is what they're dealing with. All right, and that work was
Everything from the
done.
farm comes to us.
Yeah.
It's natural.
And they got dumped on by the town by diverting when we ran that water line down for the school. So
You know,
you're
Julie,
straddling two different things, you know, this is an end result of work that was done.
Yeah, it's
where they
never been
agree.
like this before.
Where they altered
Yeah.
the flow, and it happened before 2008.
No, I definitely agree.
So I would say it might qualify, but we gotta talk, the only way you really know for sure is whether DCR is gonna let you do what you wanna do. I don't see why they wouldn't,
Yeah.
but you never know.
I think
actually,
more concerned about the root of the problem.
how
I
about
think.
talk to Alan? Get an
That's
opinion,
what?
get an opinion from Alan. Cause I mean, opinion from us, obviously you can tell it's kinda like, yeah, okay, but how do you do it?
Yeah.
So if we can give him Alan's thing, Alan's email and stuff, he's
Now, what's his last name?
Rantala, he's from DCR.
he's from DC, local guy, and even bring her with you.
In the office at West Boylston? Is that where
No.
where he's out of?
He's out.
He's okay.
I think they're still remote.
Okay.
I think that's the problem.
But it's one of those, and I think if everybody can kind of work together on it,
Right.
and yeah, you might have to be some type of an engineer of some sort to
Yeah.
sign off on something. But again, we're pretty good with it, so if you give Tamika your stuff, Dennis, we can talk to Alan and just put it all together.
Do you have any comment if we wanted, instead of removing all the material, using it to change the shape or size, smaller
I
or
think it would
not
still be the
bigger?
same thing.
But-
Yeah. It would still be
It's
the
that
same.
definition of dredging.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Mhm.
But I would see what they'd say with it, because they can see where it's, and again, you're trying to do it when it's a dry spell.
Yeah, we're not looking for trouble and trying to deal with water.
No, you just-
No, it's bad enough when it's dry. never
You're
mind.
taking out organics is what you're taking out.
Right, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, it's just,
But yeah,
it's tough when you dry it.
so I would give Tamika your stuff, Dennis. And we'll just get Alan, and get Alan's opinion, and even that Alan will even zoom in with us some night.
Yeah.
And we can work, because again, it's nothing that's gonna be today or tomorrow.
Right, no.
But again, let's just see, cause if we can get it so there's a permit done.
Yeah.
I mean, permits are good for 2 to 3 years and they can be extended, so that gives you a realm
Right.
of, hey, it's gonna be dry, just tell us.
Yeah.
But I think in that amount of time frame, cause it's not a rush like everything else is.
And it might be an opportunity to track the problem and maybe have a better understanding of if it could or how it could be rectified, so it stops bringing sediment through the farm. Cause I think if we can also
Yeah.
start to look at what the fundamental problem is. It's, you know, affecting the cemetery, but I'm sure it's affecting others too, and it's just gonna keep happening over time. I don't think this is something you guys wanna continue to do if you don't have to.
So I get kind of, we talked earlier, but it's,
Yeah, if you wanna give me his name, number, I'll give him a call and
yeah,
go from there.
Cool.
Good luck.
Will you will you just say your names for the record for me?
Dennis with one N. Suhaki, Suchocky. Mika, you know my wife.
I'll just shoot her an email with Alan's contact information. Is that okay?
Yeah.
see Dennis, she doesn't wanna talk to you either. I mean, that was good. Hey, here's my,
My wife do all the back and forth. I don't-
here's my stuff, talk to my wife, okay?
Do you have his name and number then, or?
She'll get it.
Oh, sure, and you
Yeah, I'll
you
email
have
it to Christina.
CD Suhaki, you have an email, just,
Yep.
yep.
I will do that.
Give him his pictures back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cause again, I think between everybody and that, especially if it's all that stuff coming off, they're gonna look at it and go,
Thank you.
okay, how do we make it better?
Right.
The only reason I brought that up is because I was aware that they had an interest there somehow or another.
An awful wet
And
season.
it's kind of surprising how it's very quickly changed, you know, it's like.
Right.
But it ends up downstream in drinking water, and that's where I think DCR was
Thank you.
concerned.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't wanna sit in this meeting, no.
No.
I would. This is a good time.
Meanwhile, alright, so back to the normal agenda. Number 3 was water concerns, Brice Lemon Estates follow-up.
That was just, Peter just asked me to keep it on there
Okay.
in perpetuity, like Shark Tank.
Yep.
But we don't have any updates or any
Um,
information.
Did we upload those SWIP reports? Did we get those from Julian?
So I ended up getting, I think, 3 from Gary Dummy. He sent them to me and I did upload them. I created their own folder on the SharePoint. And he said he was going to try to do his best to get them to me as soon as he receives them.
Okay.
Peter uploaded them all, he said.
I think that
No,
was
those were for
Pommogussett.
Pommogussett.
I'm still waiting for the next big rainfall so we can go up and look at
I
it.
know, now it's dry for once.
I know, right?
There was one day it was close, I almost went, but then it petered out and
He said he
this is
uploaded
kinda useless.
Yeah, the
Said he
SWIP
uploaded a
reports were
report,
for
too.
Yeah,
for
for 50,
Pommogussett.
for Route 56. Pommogussett one, I think. All those SWIP reports. Okay.
All right. Are the
Um,
cleanup, are they gonna do the cleanup?
It's on the agenda. Should be.
56, yeah, it is next.
Pay attention, man.
Adele is on for Route 50. She's from
Okay.
Mascot.
Awesome. Have you heard anything else from residents in Brice Lemon or any other reach
No.
outs?
Nope, no other
This
communication
was
from
dry,
them.
so that makes sense. All right.
Plus, they did do all of the things that DEP wanted. Or when we had the meeting up
Oh.
there.
Okay.
Oh, okay, sorry.
All right.
So
We sat on Brice Lemon. Fun stuff. Okay. Next is a follow-up on Route 56 construction, Pommogussett Road. So Adele is here. Adele, would you maybe be able to do a brief update on how things are going and what we've been up to?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. For those of you I don't know, I think I've only been in contact with Peter on email. I'm a civil engineer 1 for MassDOT, and I'm pretty new to this project. So we've been working with the contractor, Brice Concrete, pretty closely. They have installed increased erosion control around the site. The binder was placed on the pavement, which has kind of alleviated some of the sediment that was running off of the road specifically. The sidewalks are currently under construction. I was there on the 1st, which I believe was Friday, and most of the granite curbing was installed or was currently being installed. And the binder is going to be placed on the sidewalk as well. And then final paving operations are going to occur after the construction of the dam. So this pretty much all of the dirt that was dredged up from the pavement operations and the sidewalk has been covered in binder, which has controlled some of the issue. Brice has been keeping up to date with their erosion controls. They have inlet bags inside their catch basins. I go out weekly to talk with their SWIP inspector, and we go over what some of the issues are and where they need to make changes. They also have installed some stone check dams kind of near where the pond is. I forget exactly what property number on Pommogussett Road, but I think it's across. I believe it's 59, but I'm not completely sure on the number of the property. But those are some of the updates of the site as of now.
I think as we mentioned, Peter uploaded the SWIP reports. I know at least something that I've seen is that I think the silt fence it just really struggles, I think, day to day. I think when I even drive past it quickly, there's usually at least a couple sections right near the ball field or past the ball field that seems to be continuously down at the very least.
Yep. On Friday when I was out, I was talking with their SWIP inspector, and they have plans to remove the silt fence after they stabilize that area. So we had talked with them about they would need to loam and seed, and then once it's properly stabilized, the silt fence would be coming out. And then further along in construction, if needed, like if they were to disturb that area again, or if they were to work around it, they would reinstall erosion controls.
Okay, what's the timeline for stabilization?
We do not have an exact date yet. This was something that we were just communicating at the end of last week. So I can get in touch with the SWIP inspector and my boss when she comes back on vacation and see if we can get a more stabilized date for that. I believe he was planning on doing it within the next 2 weeks, but I'm not completely sure on that date, but I can find out and email Peter.
Okay, awesome. And in terms of the stabilization, did you just say loam and seed?
I believe the plan was loam and seed, but I am not 100% on what that plan would be.
They're doing that right now.
They're doing it now,
And
okay.
they're throwing straw on top.
Okay, I would just also be careful in the places that it's built up to the silt fence. There might be a little bit of excavation that needs to be done before the loam and seed is put on top.
Yep.
Just so you don't get further piling.
Yep. So I had mentioned to him that any areas where there was silt piled up or any that had extended beyond the silt fence when they remove it, that they would have to clean up before they stabilized.
Okay. And it's just regular seed, not or hydro seed.
Regular seed.
I
Regular seed.
believe regular seed, but I can confirm that again.
Okay. If we were to get a heavy rainstorm, is it something where it would be available to do hydro seed with tackifier on some of those slopes?
I am not 100% sure because I'm kind of new to this role, but I can ask my boss and double check. What was it? Tackifier?
Yeah, it just makes it stick a little bit better.
Yep, sure. I can definitely run that by them later.
Yes, Scott.
I have a question.
Okay.
Have you had an opportunity at all to take any water samples from the pond and from downstream from on the pond?
I do not believe there has been any water samples taken. That would be something where we would have to bring in, I believe, a consultant to do that work. I have gone down to the pond on the property owner side where there was some silt, and there hasn't been any new deposited that we've been able to observe. And what was there from, I believe it was like a month ago when this was first brought up as a concern, it doesn't seem to be floating around or anything there. So
I took some samples last Friday, and gotta tell you, the TSS might be just a smidgen high
Who
by a
took?
lot.
Do you know who took them?
Huh?
Do you know who took the samples?
I took them.
Oh.
All I did was fill
If
a
you-
bucket.
Yeah.
if you have
The pictures of the
information on the
buckets, if anybody
samples that
wants
you
to see
took,
just
can
how-
you please send them over to us?
Did you hear that, Joe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
I think it might be good to loop Bree in as our conservation agent and maybe
Say that
connect.
again?
Send it to Bree.
I'm thinking looping
I
Bree
don't
in
have any
instead of.
contact
Okay.
information.
Okay, send it
Send
to
it to
me,
Tamika.
and I'll loop in Bree because she will probably be the best contact over Peter at this point for
Yeah, you maybe
Adele and
wanna
and
send us
Tracy.
a mass email with
Yeah.
these too.
Yep.
I think that would be
Absolutely.
good. I think you kind of did that, but maybe again would be good.
Wait, what did
I said I think you might have already done that, but again would be good maybe.
What did I do? What did I send it about?
You
Never
did.
mind. With the Breeze info.
I can
can give you my info.
I can give you a card, from a card.
Actually, I do, no. Okay.
It's going over to you.
Yes, and.
So there's no plan of taking the silt back out of the pond.
Yeah, so is there any restoration plan for kind of the impacts that have happened to date?
A further analysis would be done before that would be something that we would set in motion.
Okay, I think that's something that we had discussed with, is it Tracy?
Yes.
Who was here a couple meetings ago, is something that we were interested in looking at. Because there was kind of in our eyes, a substantial amount of sediment that made it into
Both
that pond.
ponds.
Both ponds.
Both ponds.
So I think next steps, the commission would be looking forward a little bit more towards more comprehensive kind of resource area impact analysis. Maybe not that covers 100%, but at least getting a basic understanding of where the impacts have been, and some proposals to think over, whether it happens this year or upon completion of the project. But I think we need to have some kind of progress on that.
Because there's a ton that made it in that mill pond and the river that mill pond flows into. It's not just what made it into Molten Mill itself, it's it's a small pond and a stream coming out. A ton made it into those, and that's still moving downstream.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I can loop Tracy in, and we can reach out back to you. Probably she's on vacation,
Okay.
so it'll probably be the end of this week or the beginning of next week. I think moving forward, it'd be great if we could have more communication with some of the progress. If we want to communicate more on like a weekly basis rather than at the conservation meetings, I think that'd be easier for us to get kind of a comprehensive idea of the timelines for everybody. I don't know if I should be still communicating directly with Peter. I'm sending him SWIP reports every week as I perform them myself and as Brice Concrete performs them. I just haven't heard anything back, so I just want to make sure that I'm sending everything to the right people. And if there's somebody else you want me to loop in on those emails.
Yeah, we just recently got an agent. So if do you have Adele's email?
Adele.
I just sent it in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, perfect. So
And my bosses as well.
We'll connect you with Bree, and we'll have you communicate with her instead of Peter moving forward, because she'll be able to be responsive and even visit with you on the site if need be too.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure I'm sending everything over to the right people. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yep. We'll straighten that out for you.
So Adele, you're writing weekly reports and Morales is writing weekly reports?
Yes, I try to go out once a week. I'm the field environmental engineer on on our projects in D3. So as often as I can make it, I try to make it at least once a week, but if not, I go once every other week.
Okay. And just question, the guy from Morales is actually one of the sons, right? He's writing his own reports for the company, his parents own.
His last name is Brice. I don't know anything else about that, but he is the SWIP inspector on the site.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Thanks.
I just emailed you the emails. Yep, I did that. Okay, all right, so we will reach out to you, Adele, with some better contact information. But if you have any questions, you're still welcome to reach out to Peter, but thankfully we have an agent, so I think that should help. And yeah, I think the weekly communication can be with her and she'll give us any updates unless we need you to come in. But we appreciate the correspondence thus far and all the SWIP reports. That was greatly appreciated.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else on 56? I think we hit most of it.
So what I wanna do is I wanna see reports that they both wrote on the same date.
To compare them?
I wanna compare them.
Sorry?
Because again, I think it's a conflict as far as I'm concerned, the owner's kids writing SWIFT reports. That's kind of a problem. Not even that, you drive down and see problems. I walk it every day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you got two people looking at it, but nothing's getting fixed. That's very discouraging to me. One from the company and one from the state. Well, if we can see it, everybody see it, but nothing gets fixed. That's kind of an issue. So.
Okay.
Noted.
Recorded in the minutes.
It's fine, that's the only reason I'm saying it.
Scott is sad face emoji.
Just wait till I come back to the select board meeting, I'm coming there in a couple weeks when I come back.
Oh, God. Gonna miss that one. I
You
always
can-
do,
you
but.
can watch on Zoom. That will be on the agenda, that's gonna be on the agenda one way or the other.
All right. Cool. So I think we're done with 56.
Two more years, you're good. No.
I think the last item on old and new business was wetlands bylaw, which Peter has his draft of. So we will unfortunately continue as we always do. Is there any comments on it, thoughts, since we have the discussion? Maybe that's a nice one to also give off.
She's good enough. You won't scare her away.
You know.
We might wanna have somebody take a look. It is part of the 56 project, but it's that small piece that goes down Miles Road. They're trucking all kinds of fill in to fill that lowland just past the ball field.
That could be
Right
part
at
of the
the,
water
right
main
at the roadway,
replacement.
right
They're
at Miles
They're
Road.
building up the sides.
they're actively doing water main replacement on Miles Road right now.
Yeah, that's a separate issue.
Oh, okay.
This is part of the Route 56.
Yeah, they're filling the sides in.
Yeah, they're filling it.
Yeah, but they're filling it and they're putting fabric in. They're making it so it's not gonna go anywhere.
I don't know,
putting
you
the
gotta take a
geotech
ride by
down.
on the way home.
Hmm.
Alright, the other thing on Miles Road was, Jim Susi. That one house lot that he's doing.
Okay.
The, silt fence is going in. I think it's partially already in, I talked to him today. And, DP number will be posted. DCR has requested of him to meet at 10 o'clock Tuesday on site. And they would also appreciate someone from Concom to attend
Okay.
At the site,
10 a.m. next Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday. Okay.
This one right at the corner.
No, there's one down below where it's actually after the corner, just a little bit.
It's right before the rail, it's right
Right
before
before the rail
right
trail.
before the rail trail parking lot there.
We reviewed a notice of intent for this one.
Yeah, that's the one that had that driveway that went,
Just trying to think of it.
4 miles in and it was
Okay, yeah.
straddling.
Technically, it's like, it's Millbrook, it was Millbrook Road / Miles Road. when we
Oh,
did the
okay.
NOI, And DCR got involved and
4 miles is an exaggeration.
So 10
Wait, is it
a.m.
on the right or the
Tuesday?
left if you're going down?
Left.
Left side if you're going down. Just before the entrance to the rail trail,
Okay.
you'll see a cut through that goes in. They're just starting to lay the driveway.
So that's Alan?
Say that again?
Alan DCR setting up the meeting?
I believe it was Alan. Jimmy didn't mention the name.
So the
I
dri-
would
is-
bet that it's Alan.
so is the driveway already going in?
Yeah, he's making prep. He's already got the silt fence pretty much done. So he's kind of giving us a 48-hour notice.
Well, he needs a pre-construction meeting, so erosion controls are first, 48 is after
Hmm.
erosion controls,
Yeah.
but, all right, so that's something that he should be going through brief for then, for the inspection. For the
And
erosion controls.
I can be there to facilitate that if you want.
You gonna walk down, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bree, do you have standard hours that you're in the office? Like, how are you thinking of structuring yourself? Not to
So-
throw you under the bus, sorry.
No, that's fine. This week is weird because Monday we had a holiday. Or else I would have been in the office on Monday. At least from like 8 to 1 or 8 to 3, something like that. On weeks where we have a meeting, I plan on being in the office most of the day Monday, and then the remainder of my hours I'll be here at the meeting and just before the meeting. But on weeks where we don't have a meeting, like next week, I plan on being here Monday and Friday, 5 hours each day. So, it kind of depends.
Yeah.
Just because we have the bi-weekly meeting.
Do you have the flexibility for like a Tuesday at 10 to do that, or are you busy in the other town?
Yeah, I'm busy in the other town. Yeah. But with more notice, I
Yeah.
might be able to
Okay.
swing something.
I think as we start to,
Yeah.
you know, tie things together, things will be hopefully a little bit more seamless than
Yeah.
the initial start, you know, and as people start to figure out who to call, et cetera.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to tell people.
Yeah.
I'm here, I'm alive, I exist.
I exist.
We haven't had an existence in a while.
Yeah.
Is her name and info on the website yet?
Yep, so I already put it on the
Nice.
website. She's
Okay.
a town email address, her own extension on the phone. Yep.
Fancy.
I know.
Fancy.
I
Even the
looked at-
position is filled.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a real deal. She's
Real
one of
deal.
us now.
Do you guys have like 10 more minutes? Maybe?
Sure.
Okay, just because like I know Peter during my interview talked a lot about doing a lot of site visits. Like he pictured a lot of my hours going towards site visits. So I wanted to know what were properties of like concern in town that you guys want me to be reviewing every week. Like
think-
Brice Lemons, I think, maybe might be one.
Yeah, somebody should take you over to Brice though and show you what's town now, what town actually owns and what he actually still owns.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
Because,
a
because,
year ago?
Huh?
I think I said I took her out a year ago,
Yeah.
at least to do the stormwater stuff,
but
but
some of that
Oh, is that
stuff,
the one we went
50,
to?
I mean,
Oh.
56 obviously is one of those.
Pommogussett.
Pommogussett.
Okay, yep.
Moving,
And that's one of those, it's a mile and a quarter of road,
where you literally could just drive up and down.
where you could drive them down it and look at where the bad spots are. And it's kind of one of those, just note them.
Yeah.
Cause again, I walk it every day, it's my own fault. But you know, when you walk it, you go, well, gee, that's 4 feet under the dirt. It's not doing much good and it's been that way for a month. It's not very encouraging.
It's like the time we found all the flock logs wrapped.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think the gap that we have is just those like single family houses that are under construction that we permit kind of years in advance, you know, that isn't really part of a development, you know, that maybe we don't routinely drive by, which I think you will get more in tune with as you kind of get familiar with Viewpoint and the building software, et cetera, that those will become a little bit more fresh in your mind and
Okay.
you'll know which ones, you know, you'll know which ones are active, you know, because you'll either have gotten notification,
Okay.
but I think the larger subdivisions when they're up and running, like Brice Lemon, and then just kind of the,
And the bigger subdivisions are monitored by a lot of different people too, so it's one of those.
Well, the other thing I can do is, Bree, I don't know if you tried to click on the SharePoint link when I had sent out the email. If not, I can make sure that you have access to the SharePoint because that's where I put everything. So if you even wanted to go back to like the orders that we've just issued this year and maybe look at the addresses and see if any of them are under construction, if they're following the special conditions,
Yeah.
that type of thing, do you think that might be helpful?
for sure.
She puts holiday recipes up there and everything.
Yes, whatever you want.
All kinds of good stuff.
Yes.
There's recipes from her, you'll get your pocket cough drop from Skip.
Yeah.
So it's the
piece of
sign of
chocolate
true
if you're
love.
lucky.
Yeah.
For larger subdivisions, Brentnall would be another one that's
Brentnall.
currently
Yes.
under
Most
construction.
states.
Yeah, maybe I should attend
Okay.
to them.
What's the address of, or roughly?
Do you know, so Brittenell Drive is right off of Pommogussett, and if you drive down Brittenell Drive, you'll see where it is. You'll see that yeah.
So literally, you get on 56,
Yeah.
go that way.
Okay.
You're gonna have a mile and a quarter of road.
It's right next to 70 Brentnall.
70.
That's the
And
address adjacent to the
so on your
entrance.
right hand side is Brittenell Drive, it's a dirt road. You drive down there about a mile and change,
Yeah.
and you'll see where there's a crossing and a whole bunch of other stuff.
It's got, give her
Okay.
latitude and longitude,
Yeah.
please.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, that way.
Go this way
Let me
for
get
a
my
mile, and then
walking
go that
map
way
and I can
for a
actually pull it
mile.
up. You wanna see my walking map?
Take a left at the rock that
Yeah.
looks like a bear.
If
Yeah.
you see like a house is under construction, you're
That's
there.
what it is.
And
Yeah.
and there's 60 houses going in there.
Oh, okay.
And I think Brie, we just issued, like 6 or 7
55.
orders within the past couple months
Oh.
just for that specific subdivision.
Oh,
So
okay.
I believe they just pulled the permits for the foundations, so they're definitely getting going on those.
Okay, those would be good.
Yeah.
So were there no
Rutland.
physical files?
There wasn't supposed to be. Yes, there are.
There are. Okay.
Yes, and I'll show you where they are. They'll break out in hives if you see them, but we do have them.
You'll be fine. And started and maybe haven't been totally up to date, but I have the spreadsheet of all of the NOIs that I will lovingly pass off to you. I think the one downside is I think the last 2 years, the COCs, I haven't been good in logging which ones that we've done, but the way that she's set it up in SharePoint, it's very easy to look, cause she's done it by year, to just
Okay.
look at the list of everything we've done and just kinda throw it in there.
Yeah.
So the Excel sheet has like when they submitted, you know, date issued, book and page, map lot, address, and like a brief project description, and then have they submitted or have they gotten their COC? And the way, at least I do it at work, that I find really helpful is, so in our conditions, like we have, you know, it has to be recorded, and we need like a contractor affidavit. So I have those as columns to kind of as a visual check, and I have it set up like formatted that the expiration, you know, auto-populates and it color codes when it's like coming up on expiration to reach out to say, hey, you might wanna put in your extension.
Okay,
You know,
gotcha.
just, I mean, sometimes it's nice when you have the time to be able to tell people when their permits are expiring instead of that, oops, you know, sorry, you're gonna have to refile.
Yeah.
Right.
It just.
And only the major project we have going on is up at Rutland Heights, but there's only that corner is in it. You're not even gonna touch that till they put the detention ponds, so there's really nothing to pay attention to up there.
I don't think so, there's not a lot.
Yeah, so at Rutland Heights, it's a 55+ community,
Oh, okay.
on that, our town-owned land, well, not so town-owned anymore.
Right. But there's only a corner and there's a detention basin, it's in, we're really not close to anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only way we get involved in it if it ran off-site.
So I think it'd have to like go uphill in sections.
Yeah. Yeah, there's really nothing,
I know, they had a lot of erosion controls out there
yeah.
that we looked at.
Oh yeah, they even did some of the cuts, they did it and the erosion control was 4 feet above the
Yeah.
cut, and you're looking at it going,
Water's never gonna get to
oh,
it.
right, I
Which is
mean,
great,
it's
that's a
like,
good thing.
perfect.
Yeah, it's a berm, so.
Did you walk through there?
No, it says no trespassing, I wouldn't walk through there.
As we're
I had to
recording.
chase my dog.
Ask me later.
Did we trespass, Glenn?
No.
We have a permit.
We did.
Okay.
They told us it was okay.
Yeah, and if anyone thinks of anything else, send Bree an email. Tamika will email us with her email.
That'll be enough to
So
last
I
till next
actually,
week anyway, right?
she was included on the email that I sent
Yeah.
out to you guys
That's
already for
what
this
I was.
meeting,
That's
so
what I was trying to say earlier.
I say, I
I was like, I think you already did, but
Yeah, when you said it, I was like, how do I did?
did the right thing. Okay. Do you have any other questions for us, Bree?
I was thinking of doing like site inspection reports that I can give to you all or email on a weekly basis, I guess, you know, maybe for 56. Seems like that might be a good idea. Is that something that you all would?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if it's just like a email summary versus like an official memo, just to save on time sometimes, you know? Doesn't have to be anything too fancy.
Okay.
That would be great.
We don't have Form 1053 ready yet in triplicate?
Jeez. Done.
We can get updates, we can have conservation agent update.
As an agenda item.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
Yes. The one thing though I found about when it's just like a agent report or like commissioner report is you at least have to have a couple things that you reasonably expect to be on there. It can't be totally broad.
Well, that's
I know. So even if it's just like update on active sites, like that is more specific than just agent report. So for the agenda, it just has to be like a little bit more concise of what you expect to talk about.
Oh, like the actual addresses and stuff like
Not
that.
necessarily addresses, just, just literally site inspections, updates, like that's okay.
Be concise.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like, not, yeah.
Well, yeah, what sites did you go to, what'd you find,
Yeah, of course.
are there issues?
There's just been some weird OML things about like just general updates that they
Oh,
don't like
okay.
having it just like agent update, and that's the only thing that's listed. Anything else under old and new business? Public comment, is there any public comments?
Of the voting members, I was just curious how many actually read the documentation that was provided
That you submitted last time?
before the vote.
I think Peter had kind of synopsized it and sent it to us. I don't know, did
With
he,
photographs? With the photographs?
I'm not sure if it was it scanned in?
I'm not sure what Peter did.
Okay.
I wasn't involved.
I would have to check with unfortunately Peter's sick tonight, and he has that update, but, or the document, but.
The only reason why I asked, there were some fairly significant issues related directly to the Wetlands Protection Act and Massachusetts general law, but they weren't really discussed tonight. It seemed odd. And there's also been some fairly just flagrant violations that repeatedly and no course of action. Bizarre.
Okay. Got it. Do you have anything else?
No.
Okay. There being no other public comment, is there any other business in front of the board?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor by roll call?
Langer, aye.
Telco, aye.
Chancellor Chai.
Williamson, I.
Danza, aye. We are adjourned at 7:06.